third speaker is His Excellency Ambassador Jalil Abbas Jilani, Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to the U.S. Prior to his appointment as ambassador here, he served as Pakistan's Foreign Secretary. He's a career diplomat. He formerly served as ambassador of Pakistan to Belgium, Luxembourg, and the EU, and as Pakistan's High Commissioner to Canberra, Australia. He also served as Deputy Secretary in the Prime Minister's Secretariat. Ambassador Jilani specializes in South Asian affairs and was formerly the Director General of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Ambassador.
Thank you so much. Thank you, IFPRI, for organizing this wonderful seminar. This is my second trip to IFPRI, this premier organization. And I have always enjoyed my interaction with some of the finest brains who are working for this wonderful organization. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I would like to offer my compliments to the authors of the book, Dr. Suhail Malik, Mr. David Spielman, Dr. Paul Darosh, and Nusrat Ahmed. Dr. Suhail Malik and Nusrat, they're both, I think, traveling, and they couldn't be here this afternoon. But certainly, this book will go a long way in educating the people interested in the rural sector agriculture development in Pakistan. I have absolutely no doubt that this book is going to be an excellent addition as a reference book for the planners in Pakistan, the academic institutions, and many students who are interested in the agriculture development in Pakistan. I would say that this book is timely in the sense that it highlights almost all the issues that we are trying to grapple with regard to the agriculture sector, because whether it's climate change, whether it's the rural poverty. One thing that I entirely agree with you, that the agriculture development has not been able to keep pace with the overall economic development that Pakistan has been making in the last several years. Pakistan, a country of almost 200 million people, apart from the fact that we have to feed 200 million people in Pakistan, but the agriculture planners in Pakistan, or the Planning Commission in Pakistan, while projecting for the next 1 year or the next 5 years, we have to also take into account certain neighboring countries. For instance, we also, our agriculture sector also caters to almost 35 to 40 million Afghans, because they are also dependent on the agriculture produce in Pakistan, whether it's wheat, cotton, maize, or other. Those of you who follow the global economic trends would be aware that our economy in the last couple of years has registered a significant growth. According to the recent forecasts, including by The Economist, Pakistan's economy is likely to achieve the highest growth rate among the Muslim countries. In Asia, we would be second only to India and China, the two fastest growing economies of the world. Turning around the economy and overcoming the acute energy shortages are amongst the important accomplishments of the government of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. In fact, the Prime Minister dilated upon various aspects of Pakistan's economic growth at the World Economic Forum meeting last week in Davos. Ladies and gentlemen, now dissecting a little deeper the economic profile of the country, it appears that despite encouraging advances in the industrial, manufacturing, and services sectors, Pakistan's agriculture sector has been underperforming in the last few years. And this book very clearly spells out this aspect. There is no denying the fact that without bringing a meaningful transformation in the agricultural economy, especially the rural economy, we cannot really realize the dream of turning around Pakistan's economic fortunes on a sustainable basis. Hence the relevance and importance of this book. I certainly, once again, I would like to commend the authors. I was initially scared of the 500 pages, but I certainly, when I started reading the book, I found it to be a very interesting reading because most of the issues which have been dealt with, they're of direct relevance to almost everyone in Pakistan, whether it's, the authors have touched upon extremely critical areas. It talks about the challenges to the rural economy, rural development, land productivity, the negative impacts of climate change, which is deeply affecting the rural economy in Pakistan, as well as urbanization and ancillary matters. There is also a chapter on irrigation and water management in the Indus water basin, which is a vital current issue that we are dealing with both in Washington and Islamabad. I'm sure that you are aware that most of our rivers, they flow from the Indian side of Kashmir. We have, being a lower riparian state, we have certain concerns with regard to some of the developments which are taking place on the Indian side, which we feel are a violation of the Indus Waters Treaty. Looking forward to an informed and interesting discussion by the panelists, which it was an excellent presentation made by Mr. David Spiel and Rihanna. I would like to share a few thoughts from the government's perspective on some of these areas. First, the government is completely mindful of the fact that agriculture is a vital component of Pakistan's economy. We know that it is agriculture which absorbs the largest labor force, around 42.3 million in the country, and also provide the necessary raw material down the line to various industries and contribute to poverty alleviation. Moreover, the huge potential of this sector in earning valuable foreign exchange has been greatly realized by value addition sectors, especially in cotton. Therefore, agriculture is also the backbone of Pakistan's exports. I appreciate that several chapters in this book dwell upon the impact of water scarcity, climate change, and erratic urbanization on the agriculture sector. This book has rightly argued that future of Pakistan's agriculture sector in the next 2 to 3 decades will likely be shaped by major drivers of change, particularly climate change, and the management of diminishing natural resource base and rapid urbanization as response to governance challenges. Second, we all know that Pakistan is located in a region with the most erratic weather patterns. Because of the monsoon phenomena, our agriculture heavily relies on the rainfalls in the 2 months of summer, which caters to water needs for full 1 year. The success or otherwise of summer precipitation due to monsoon has a huge impact on Pakistan's agriculture output. Since the uppermost threshold of the monsoon rainfalls ends in the Indus River in Pakistan, it presents the only major option for the country to manage the water supply for the rest of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, one vital recommendation of the book is the Indus River Basin system is in the need of major investments. And it is absolutely right that we need to undertake major investments in this sector because this sector has also been ignored by successive governments in Pakistan. But I am happy to inform you, and Mr. David Spales also mentioned in his presentation, about the initiative that we have taken to build the Amir Bhasha Dam. This is a major dam which would have a water capacity of 8.1 MAF and would also produce electricity to the tune of 4,500 megawatts to the national grid. This is something which is certainly would help in overcoming the water scarcity that we are faced with. There are a couple of other dams which are also in the pipeline, and I'm sure that that would also further ease out the situation. But in order to make up for the shortfall, the previous government focused more on construction of over 200 small dams with water reservoirs in all provinces of the country. By now, work on the construction of about 50% of these 200 dams, small dams, have been completed. But this could in no way be a substitute for building a larger reservoir in the country. Thirdly, because Pakistan is considered to be amongst the most vulnerable countries likely to be affected by climate change, its long-term impact and short-term weather shocks loom large in Pakistan. The adverse effects of global warming could be devastating for Pakistan's agriculture and general habitat. Although no single country can fight with the onslaught of climate change, certain preemptive and adaptive steps can be taken to minimize the impact of climate change. And here I would like to mention that it is extremely important that the regional countries, they also develop a kind of a mechanism because if you have pooling of resources, if you have the advance warning coming from certain regions, then certainly some of the corrective measures can also be taken by the countries concerned. Here I would like to mention the Vision 2025 document, which has been prepared by the present government, which recommends that we strengthen our adaptation capacity, especially amongst the poorest and most vulnerable population. This document further recommends that Pakistan should invest in renewable energy resources with a view to making them more affordable. It is widely believed that 2010 floods in Pakistan were the result of glacial melts in the Himalayan region. In my view, Pakistan needs the remote sensing technology to monitor the situation of the glaciers. And here, I would like to mention that we are already negotiating with the US side on developing this technology in Pakistan. The USAID has been a wonderful partner in the development of agriculture sector in Pakistan. It must also acknowledge that the US has been a major contributor of agriculture development in Pakistan, and people of our generation, for instance, we very fondly remember the green revolution that was undertaken in Pakistan. And again, one agriculture scientist, by the American scientist by the name of Dr. Norman Borlaug, he became a household name in Pakistan because of the agriculture, the wheat, the technology that he gave, which almost doubled the yield per acre within a short period of time. Fourth, like other countries, Pakistan is also urbanizing rapidly, offering both challenges and opportunities to the policymakers. The most recent urbanization in Pakistan has resulted in building slum nodes in the suburbs of big cities like Karachi and Lahore. Because this happened too quickly and too haphazardly, the urbanization today has stagnated around 40% of the total population. On the one hand, while these growing urban centers are providing market opportunities for agriculture, particularly for high-value perishable products such as fruits, vegetables, dairy, and meat, they are also creating problems of law and order and poor civic amenities for the residents. And here I would like to mention that this book has rightly noted that public and private investments are needed to ensure that farmers and rural entrepreneurs can benefit from the demand linked with expanding urbanization in a positive manner without compounding the challenges of urbanization. This would require investing in more stable transportation networks and infrastructure between the rural communities and sprawling urban centers. I am happy to note that many of these priorities mentioned in the book are being catered through the ambitious projects conceived under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, since Pakistan's agriculture community comprises largely of small farmers having numerous limitations in their day-to-day farming practices, resulting into low yield levels, the government is also focused on improving agriculture productivity. A committee under the supervision of the Minister for Food, National Food Security and Research has been set up, especially to work out ways to increase per acre yield and utilization of critical agriculture inputs. These are just the small steps which will contribute to alleviate the challenges of small farmers in Pakistan. In conclusion, let me say that I fully agree with the overall assessment of the book, that a vibrant agriculture sector and a rural economy are essential to improving the welfare of the people of Pakistan and its economic growth. The government is fully in sync with this reality. The authors, while highlighting the need for a new approach to improving the agriculture sector in Pakistan, acknowledge that the government's ambitious and comprehensive strategy, Vision 2025, can go a long way in reintroducing agriculture and food security into the national policy dialogue. I am confident that with the government's vision and commitment, it is very much possible to bring Pakistan to a state with high levels of agriculture growth and rural progress that can substantially contribute in reducing poverty and bringing prosperity to the rural communities. I once again thank you very much for inviting me into this wonderful seminar. Thank you so much.